in just a moment. But first, Mikel Arteta has been speaking to James Savundra, who we should be able to join in just a moment. He was there for the press conference earlier, and he's there right now. Hello, James. It's a tough old start, isn't it, for Arsenal this season? What about this game against Manchester City in particular? Does Arteta feel it could be significant in the title race?
Hi Matt, good to see you. You mentioned tough start. Following the first 5 matches of this league campaign, Arsenal have played the 2 sides that won the last 8 Premier League titles. That's how tough it's been at the start of the season for Arsenal. There were some criticism about the way they performed and their outlook and approach at Anfield before the international break when they went down 1-0. There was a feeling from the outside at least they played not to lose rather than played to win that game. In fairness to Arsenal, it was an incredible free kick from Dominic Szoboszlai that won Liverpool that game, and that is still the only goal that Arsenal have conceded in all competitions so far this season. The club legend Thierry Henry was speaking earlier this week, and he says that Arsenal must go into big games like this with the mentality of trying to win them rather than trying not to be beaten if they're to end that long wait for the Premier League trophy. But in fairness to Arsenal, in their last 2 matches against Manchester City in the Premier League at the Emirates, they've won both of them. And if they do that this weekend, they'll go 6 points clear of Pep Guardiola's side at this very early stage of the season. So I asked Mikel Arteta today how significant this game is when it comes to the title race.
It's about winning again and creating, another good moment for us. Consistency, competing against one of the best teams, obviously, in the world, and good test for us to see our level as well. There will be moments that has been in the past as well in the last few years, and obviously they have certain different qualities, especially in the back line, and since they recruited Erling as well, they always modified a few things because of the quality of individual, which is normal. And there is a tendency in football, especially because there is as well all the tendencies in the way teams are defending that obviously has certain implications to how teams react to that.
Your players free to celebrate, or as they wish on Sunday, or you said to them, bring it in?
Well, that was done. That's it. That's part of it. There's been a lot of celebration and non-celebration over the past from a lot of teams, and that's it. We don't. That every experience is to learn as well, and we certainly learn from that one.
There were some significant changes made at boardroom level today, weren't there? Did Arteta have much to say about that?
Yeah, Matt, it's been described by the club as an evolution of their board of directors. The main changes see Tim Lewis depart as director. He's been a prominent figure at the club since joining it in 2020. He's left the club. Richard Garlick, who has been so successful since joining from the Premier League, he moves from managing director to chief executive officer. And the changes come at quite an interesting time because you'd think it's been a really successful summer for Arsenal. Tim Lewis played a massive part in that summer. Arsenal spending over £250 million to galvanise that playing squad, and already at the start of the season we've seen the benefits of what has been a really successful summer of recruitment. But for Mikel Arteta, there's been so many changes at boardroom level since he was appointed as the manager back in 2019. So I asked him how these latest changes affect him.
There have been quite a lot of changes since I arrived at the club. First of all, obviously Tim is leaving, and I would like to say a few words because he's been someone that I really enjoy working with. I think he has a tremendous contribution for everything that we've done over the last few years. Then on Rich, congratulations, obviously, because it's a massive role to be the CEO of this football club. And then welcome to the new members of the board. That hopefully they're going to make us better and help us and bring ideas and support and make this club much better. It's ultimately a Stan's and Joe's decision. They've been incredibly supportive, so we move on again.
OK, let's get to team news then. And Mikel Arteta wasn't giving a huge amount away today. Bukayo Saka, Ben White and Martin Odegaard all missed the trip to Athletic Club in midweek. Arteta said they'll be assessed tomorrow to see whether or not they could be in a position to feature against Manchester City. He gave slightly more clarity when it came to Mikel Merino and Victor Gyökeres. Both players picked up head injuries against Athletic Club in Spain on Tuesday, but they're absolutely fine. William Saliba was amongst the substitutes. He didn't come on in that game. Arteta says he's pushing really hard to start on Sunday, but he wouldn't confirm whether or not it will be Saliba or Christian Mosquera, who partner Gabriel in the centre of defence as they look to try to repel Erling Haaland, who is in incredible form right now. Arteta, he's got the opportunity to become the first Premier League manager to go 5 matches unbeaten in a row against Pep Guardiola. It should be a brilliant Super Sunday. Coverage gets underway on Sunday afternoon ahead of kick-off at 4:30 between Arsenal and Manchester City.
Cannot wait. Thank you, James. Right, so that's the view from Arsenal. Let's get the City perspective, shall we? Ben Ransom sat down with Pep Guardiola in the last hour. Afternoon to you, Ben. It wasn't the best of starts for City, was it, this season? They lost 2 of their opening 3 games. But since the international break, they've won 2 in a row and they've looked very convincing. Have you sensed an uplift in the mood since then?
I think that is exactly the way to paint this, to be honest, because those last 2 wins, the Manchester derby just under a week ago at the Etihad, the way they blew away their rivals from across the city, and then following it up with that win against a difficult Napoli side, albeit the sending off obviously changed the complexion of the game, but still 2 wins, 5 goals scored, none conceded, crucially, I think has lifted the mood, yes. And you look, for example, at the body language of the players, they seem to be certainly in high spirits, particularly playing here last weekend against Manchester United. There were smiles on faces, there was that invention and that creativity which has been lacking at times over the last 12 months or so, not least, I should say, from the game when City went to Arsenal last season and were thumped 5-1. That was one of the more damaging defeats in what was a pretty disappointing campaign by their own lofty standards. So in the last few minutes, literally, I've been sat down with Pep Guardiola, the Manchester City manager. He held his post-match press conference last night after the Napoli game when he spoke ahead of the Arsenal game. But we got our time, given this match is live on Sky, to sit down and spend 10-15 minutes picking his brain about the mood within the camp. And certainly from Pep's point of view, having Erling Haaland fit and firing, 12 goals now in 7 matches for club and country, and reuniting him with a fit and in form again Phil Foden could well be the key to them having more joy this weekend.
In aspects, yes, I think it's more mature. I think it's know the club, ourselves better. So the impact when he arrived and we won the treble was unbelievable. It looks like in every ball arrived there, always came to Erling and put in the net. And after the second season was a little bit tougher for him. In the last season, the team, for many injuries, for many circumstances, we drop in energies and desires and many things. And this season, I think, make an incredible step. I'm happy for him because Norway is close, to play in a big competition for after many years. His father and sign a new deal for many years here, and of course the natural way, making a step forward, to become something like don't come here just to score a goal. That is the main thing, to be honest, but not just that. And I think it's a natural process that the people and the players come in the right position.
Another player who seems to be happy, fit again, Phil Foden.
Yeah.
We've seen his impact in the last couple of games. How important is he and a fully fit Phil for when
everybody knows it? I think there is no person in UK in the Premier League that doesn't know how important is Phil, how a special player is. So he needs warmth, he needs hugs, he needs to be loved. All of us, we need to be loved in our lives, but Phil is so sensitive person, and since arrived, every year was better. And last season, alongside for many other reasons, he was not there. But as much as in that position is fine.
Now, Ben, we just heard from Mikel Arteta on whether he thought this would have implications, this game, for the title race. What did Pep Guardiola have to say about that?
Well, I think everyone connected with the Premier League, specifically these 2 clubs, Manchester City and Arsenal, recognise that both of the teams will expect to have a big say in the title race. Both at this stage of the season, despite City losing those 2 matches, will certainly feel as though they can win the title. Now, title talk has been a little bit absent, bizarrely, for the last 12 months because of how last season went. It's been a bit strange, actually, because City have been so dominant, haven't they, in the last decade, certainly under Pep Guardiola, and being so far off the pace last year was a bit of a culture shock. But obviously we've had a great reset, and they've had almost a second reset with that international break, and they seem to have come out, as we've just been hearing, playing on form, with smiles again, just tapping into the Manchester City of old, getting their mojo back to a certain extent. So obviously this game is huge, and for Manchester City to stay in the title race, they know they have to go there, they have to be competitive against a team that Pep Guardiola sees as being one of the standouts in the Premier League.
The season is so long, it's just 5 games in Premier League, 1 in Champions League, so it's many, or 4 games I would say, many things going to happen in the season is so long. For our experience, many years I won the Premier League in winter time. In January we were behind Liverpool, Arsenal many years, and after we were able to do it. So important is to try to be close to the top, to be there. So the seasons, if you are there after the then last 10 games, 8 games will define, I would say, the season. Last season in November, December we were already out, and in that we will try to, you know, whatever happened, to be close.
So for Manchester City, you can't win the title at this stage of the season, you can lose it, and we kind of saw that last year when they fell so far off the pace. They have come from behind before. There's a little bit of a gap to make up, but I think certainly the move from inside the camp, having sat with Pep Guardiola in the last hour here in Manchester, he feels optimistic, and I think he gets the sense there's a bit of the old Man City mojo back.
Thank you very much, Ben. Oh, well, this is a mega game, isn't it? Arsenal against Manchester City, live from the Emirates. It's the second part of Super Sunday. You can watch it from 4 p.m. live on Sky Sports Premier League.